So maybe you're like me and you are tired of having to lug around super heavy lead acid batteries, and you're sick of them dying all the time and having to fork over a bunch of cash having to replace them. In which case, thank you for tuning into this episode where we will be analyzing the pros and cons of a traditional deep cycle lead acid battery and a lithium iron phosphate battery. Let's get into it. Now, I understand that probably most of you watching this are low budget fishermen, and the reason you don't have any money left is because, well, you're a fisherman. But if you are not a fisherman or a boat owner, that's okay, because lithium batteries can also be used for things like RVs and campers, home energy, golf carts, and many more applications. So what we're going to do today is highlight 8 key differences of these two batteries. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Thanks. So the first thing I noticed when this lithium battery appeared on my porch is how unbelievably light it was. And for a second I was like, wait a minute, did they forget to ship the battery? Did they really just send me an empty box with no battery in it? But believe it or not, no, it was just a super light battery. And the reason why is because lithium is a relatively light metal and is certainly much lighter than the materials used in lead acid. So what I have done to prove the weight difference is I have pulled out my wife's brand new bathroom scale, and what I'm gonna do is tune it to 20 pounds heavier so that when she steps on it the next time, she's gonna think that, no, just kidding. But what I am gonna do is I'm gonna put this down and I'm gonna put my 2 batteries on it. We're going to test the weight difference. All right, so not sure if you guys can see that, but it's 54.4 pounds for the traditional lead acid battery. And for the lithium battery, it's 22.3 pounds. So the days of lugging around these super heavy lead acid batteries and hurting your back and spending hundreds of dollars at the chiropractor are hopefully over. But also one of the advantages is it's going to reduce the weight that you have to tow around in your boat, of course wearing down your trailer tires. And if you're a boat owner like me, you might notice a slight difference in speed and in gas mileage by taking more weight out of your boat or your golf cart. And this can be exponentially advantageous if you're running a 24 or 36 volt system where you have to use 2 or 3 different batteries. Now you're exponentially reducing the weight overall in your boat, your trailer, your RV, or whatever application you're using it for. Now, one of the other major pains about lead acid batteries is that if you use it heavily, for example, if it's a windy day out on the lake and you're running your trolling motor on full blast, your battery can die halfway through the day, and then you're left paddling your way back to the launch because, well, let's pretend like your outboard motor isn't working as well. Bummer. So what's great about the lithium battery is that it has twice the capacity of the lead acid one. So if a typical battery lasts, let's say 6 to 8 hours, depending on your usage, the lithium battery would last about 12 to 18, depending on how heavily you're using it. That's a huge difference. The other disadvantage of lead acid batteries is that as they reduce their capacity, they also reduce their power. So back to my example, it's a windy day out on the lake and your battery is down to 20% capacity. Well, your trolling motor is probably going to be puttering at about 0.1 miles an hour, hoping you can make it back to the launch. And then when you finally make it back, you can be like those old guys at the launch. No wonder I'm not catching anything. My battery keeps dying halfway through the day, and then muskies keep eating all my walleye. But not with the lithium batteries. Their output strength is independent of the capacity of the battery. So in other words, the power remains relatively constant throughout the day and even provides a slightly stronger output for improved power and speed. So if you're starting your day going 2 miles an hour on the trolling motor, you're going to be going about 2 miles an hour 8 hours later, even though the capacity of your battery may only be about 50%. Only until you get about to 5% or so of the capacity do you notice a drop in power for the lithium batteries. That could be a con to consider because it can just die without warning, but overall it's going to last a lot longer out on the water and you're going to have a constant speed throughout the day. That's a really huge advantage. One of the other major downers of lead acid batteries is that their lifespan is about as long as your average Hollywood marriage, so about 1 to 3 years. And this is because there are a limited amount of life cycles in a lead-acid battery, and we're going to talk about this next. Now, maybe this goes without saying, but replacing a $150 battery every couple years can certainly get expensive, and then you start taking cash out of your wallet and replacing it with receipts, like my dad's wallet, which is about 5 inches thick from all the receipts of all the things that he purchased in the last 5 years. But not the lithium battery. In fact, they live about 5 times longer. In fact, this battery, it's by Lithium, claims that you won't have to replace it for another 10 years or so. And Lithium feels confident enough about it where this battery actually comes with a 5-year warranty. Along the same vein, most lead-acid batteries have around 400 to 500 life cycles. This battery has a minimum of 4,000 life cycles, which is about 8 times more than your traditional battery. Now, I'm going to put down my lithium battery pom-poms for a second and say that one con of lithium batteries is that you never want to charge them below freezing, as this can cause lithium plating, which can permanently damage your battery. But this particular battery has low temperature protection and actually cuts off a charge at and below 32 degrees, which is a major advantage of the Lithium batteries. So let's talk about safety for a second, because you want to be safe out on the water. With lead-acid batteries, if you drop them or you tip them over, they can leak acid or harmful gases, especially if that seal breaks, which can cause burns or other injuries. That would be a bummer. But with lithium batteries, I'm sure you've heard of them exploding, right? Well, personally, I've never had a problem with my Lithium batteries exploding. I've never had a problem at all. They've actually always been extremely reliable and Okay, but on a more serious note, most of the reports of exploding batteries have been with lithium-ion batteries. Batteries like these, which are lithium iron phosphate, are known to be a lot safer, and if an explosion ever happens, it's typically due to overcharging, overheating, a short circuit, or excessive damage. And amazingly, this battery has protection in all of those areas. So it has overcharging protection, overheating protection, short circuit protection, and shock protection. And if that's not enough, there are thousands of positive reviews of this battery, none of which even mention any issues with explosions. Interestingly, I even Googled my Lithium battery exploded, and there were no results. The only thing that showed up was a lithium battery explosion happening in a toilet, which looked more to me like someone ate too much Taco Bell. Okay, so let's talk last but not least about price point. And maybe you're like me and this is the biggest reason you haven't pulled the trigger on a lithium battery. Leading competitors are charging anywhere from $700 to $1,000 for a 12 volt 100 amp battery. Yikes. But not this particular battery. In fact, not only is it on sale right now for right around $300, but you can also get some additional money off if you use the affiliate link that's down in my description below. And if you are a military or a veteran, first of all, thank you for your service, you will also get an additional 8% off. Now, just in case you are concerned that the lower price point means lower value, again, I would emphasize the incredibly positive reviews across multiple independent sources, and there have been several experts who have actually taken this battery apart, taken the cover off, analyzed all of the components, and confirmed that it is assembled almost identical to leading competitors that are 3 times the price. So in sum, lithium iron phosphate batteries are lighter, higher performing, safer, and they last longer, and of course they're going to save you a ton of money in the long run. Guys, thanks a ton for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.